Welcome to Blissful Living. Thank you so much for being here on our Monday morning podcast. It's a great time of the year for the topic that I have chosen today because we are still in the 8/8 portal. The August 8th portal goes all the way through the 12th. And even though we're manifesting all the time, using the energy that's on our planet right now to help us magnify, truly, it's about magnifying what we desire, can be really, really fun. And being mindfully aware of ourselves and our current situation is a good place to start. So today we are going to be adding to the pot our energy circles. We are adding to the pot of manifesting with each other, and we're amping up those manifestations with our energy together collectively, and of course on the planet. And one of the first steps in this 8/8 portal is awareness, right? In the Awaken acronym, it's being aware. So let's start with the 8/8 number, which they call the Lion's Gate. Energetically, it's about where there is an energy portal on the planet that is open during this time, and anything that we are thinking and feeling about is amped up. So whether that's negative or positive, we are always manifesting. And I wanted to point out in this 8/8 magical manifestation time that it's not something to step into that portal because it's already moving through us, but it's learning how to access our own desires and amp up our feelings during the portal. So it's already here. It's already moving through us. It's the frequencies are all around us. So heightening our awareness to frequency and being mindfully aware of what we have been thinking about what is the start really to manifesting what you desire. And manifestation has been around for eons of time, but really The Secret helped launch it, Rhonda Byrne in her book and the movie. And people started getting more on board with believing that they are not just walking humans, that we are energy frequencies. And if we look at that, what that means is we are always attracting. And one of my favorite quotes that I say is, we are powerful agents, creators. And the one thing that we as humans don't have agency over is that we can't help but create. We automatically create. Isn't that cool? We automatically create in our world because we are extensions of the creator. And we don't have agency over that. We can't help. We can't help. And you will notice that in your own life, if you just reflect for a moment, if your dominant thoughts and expectations for the last 30 days became your next 30 days, would you be excited about what you're creating? Or would you be disappointed about what you're creating? Something to contemplate. And again, don't beat up on yourself. This is just an awareness game to be mindful of where your thoughts and feelings have been. And in that infinite power of eights, which if you turn the eight sideways, it is the infinity number. So the 8 is a powerful number in numerology. The frequency represents abundance, and it'll be abundance of whatever you're thinking about. It could be abundance of the negative. It could be abundance of the positive. The universe doesn't choose what abundance you're going to receive. You do. The universe itself is just abundant. We live in an abundant universe. And when we move in to feeling that abundance, When we move into feeling the gratitude of the abundance of good things in the universe, then what happens is the good begins to show up in our life. And so the 8 portal is about abundance. And when we learn how to allow abundance to move through us. So if you're born in this time, then be really mindful that you are a powerful creator, that what you are thinking and feeling about really gets created. And as I mentioned, when you turn that 8 sideways, it is the infinite symbol. And just knowing that helps you to know I can tap into infinite powers at any given moment. However, when you see an 8, let it remind you of the infinite powers that are within us. So let's look at now that comment that I made. If we take what you've been thinking and feeling about the last 30 days and that started manifesting in your next 30 days, would you be excited about that or would you be disappointed about that? And recognizing where you have been will help you recognize where you want to go. And the biggest block to people's manifestations is their judgments. Their judgments on themselves for thinking and feeling harshly. So we're going to open with a forgiveness. And it just looks like this. I forgive myself for thinking, feeling, and believing that my thoughts and beliefs and actions are who I am. And let your heart move into acceptance rather than criticism. I forgive myself for manifesting a life that I don't want through my thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. And I forgive myself for not knowing better. I forgive myself for being harsh with myself and being critical of myself and others. And let every cell in your body feel that forgiveness. As we forgive ourselves every morning, I have a little prayer myself. I say, I am sorry for my egoic, stubborn thoughts and reactions, the need to be right. Please forgive me for my misaligned thoughts, words, and deeds as I forgive others. And as I do that prayer every morning, I mean, it's part of a bigger prayer, but as I insert that piece of it in the prayer, and as I speak that, I'll put my hand on my heart so that I can feel the slate clean from the energy from the past 24 hours, from my ill will thoughts, from my judgments, from being critical of someone else. And that awareness is the first step, really being mindfully aware of you creating with those ill will thoughts helps you to then shift it and change it. So awareness is a key tool for your manifesting of what you want. And neutralizing instead of beating yourself up for how you've been thinking and feeling, forgive yourself and stop pushing away those thoughts and feelings. Instead, recognize them. They come from deeper sources. When we move into a place of awareness, what am I giving energy to? What emotions am I carrying? And what are my expectations and what are my beliefs and choices and actions? That is what is shaping us. And when we become mindfully aware of that, then we have the ability to change it. So what happens a lot of times is we get caught up in the reels in our head of putting more energy into what we don't want. And welcome to humanity. So being mindfully aware of where are my emotions am I I'm thinking about more what I don't want, and I'm worried and anxious about what I am going to experience, those thoughts and feelings are manifesting those anxious experiences to you, and you'll continue to have more and more of those until you get that to a place that you go, oh, I recognize that and I can change that. So I like to start with a don't want list, because most of my clients who come in to see me, they don't know what they want in such places of distress. And that is completely fine. Own that. But let's start with what are you experiencing right now that you don't want? And if you have a pen and paper in front of you, go ahead and pull that out and just list a few things that you may be experiencing. It could be physical symptoms. It could be a career that you don't like. It could be a relationship having hardships. And just write down a few of those things. We're going to use that list, and this is what you've been ruminating about, what you've been thinking about, but we're going to use that list to create our do want list. And what would I rather have? What do I want to experience? And this is where we get to turn it around. And on your piece of paper, go ahead on the other side, write down the opposing belief. So let's say I don't want to beat up on myself anymore. The opposite of that would be I want more self-acceptance. And when we turn that around, then we can get really, really clear on what our desires are. And our desires is the first step in our creation. Really being clear that we are creators and God desired to experience itself as more. And that's how we came into existence. So I want to mention something here. If God, source, whatever word you need to use, withdrew its love from us, did you know you would cease to exist? Because who God is love. And so if God withdrew its love from us, we would no longer exist. So that's really important to understand the foundation of who we are so that you can stop feeling unlovable. And in my prayer every morning, I repeat, I am love, loved, loving, and lovable. After I do my little forgiveness and I breathe that in, and I imagine that little beam of light going to all the cells of my body. And doing this in front of the mirror when you brush your teeth is really powerful with your thinking. So let's look at why our manifestations aren't working. And it's back to what we're thinking about, that we are desperately trying to force something to happen. When we go, oh, I have to have this. I've got to create this. I need more. I need to have this. I need to have that. We become attached to it. I need a relationship so I can feel loved. What happens is we put a block to our creations. It literally, when I look at energy fields, it looks like a block. And their energy isn't free flowing because they have this I have to, and this level of anxiety is surfacing underneath it. When you understand that the anxiety is an emotion to say, hey, there's something off here. Anxiety is rooted in worry and fear. And when we understand that anxiety is just the outcome, we can change what's the fear and the worry about that and juxtapose it, turn it around. I am hopeful that things get better for me in my life. That's a better one. But realizing that everything we desire has an emotion attached to it. So going into, let's say I want a new home, okay? Let's go into what is the feeling of a new home, and we can use your examples. That was just my example, but we can use your examples. Let's say I want to be healthy, or I want to be free of working this job, or my husband from working his job. Let's go into one of the most common ones is abundance of good things, right? Feeling, and we get attached that it has to be money in the bank. There has to be this much money in the bank before I can do dot, 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 dot. So what are we really wanting here? And I mentioned this in yesterday's call. What we are really wanting is a sense of freedom to do what we want, when we want, with whom we want. And we are attached to money being the key to that freedom. There's your block. The moment you become attached to the outcome needing to be a certain way, we become desperate for that outcome. When we say this or something better, because God, the universe, creates abundance of good things, and we put blocks on it when we say, oh, it needs to be this much money in the bank. Abundance could come by somebody gifting you a home. Abundance can come by somebody gifting you whatever it is that you've been wanting, and you didn't even know that you wanted it, but all of a sudden it shows up for you, and it brings a sense of joy. So if we can bring in the emotion of what it is we desire, for example, a new car brings in a feeling of abundance and safety. A healthy relationship brings in partnership, fun, spontaneity. Health brings in freedom to move this body. Bringing in money, what we think is money, or we can say abundance of good things, brings in a sense of freedom, that we have the power to travel or do what we want when we want. So take that do want list that you've just created and go into the feeling. Okay, and this isn't about pretending. So for me, freedom is one of my core values, which is why I mentioned traveling. And I actually have a blissful living travel page you can follow where I give travel tips and good deals on my Facebook page. So that's how important it is to me. I am so curious about love. I love to experience life in all of its facets. So if we can go into, okay, so if my core value is freedom and I want to do what I want, when I want, with whom I want, I've had that level of freedom before. And so have you. Something has happened in your life that gave you a sense of freedom. It could have been playing a sport. It could have been buying your first home. It could have been going on a trip somewhere that was unexpected, or somebody giving you a certain amount of money that was unexpected, and it gave you a sense of freedom. So let's go into that feeling right now. The abundance of good things feeling, and notice the blades of grass outside, how you can't even count them. There's so many. The pine needles on the tree, the leaves on the tree, the bark. Smell it, sense it, taste it, feel the abundance of it. As we practice doing this through segments of our day, these are called segment intending. Then we go, okay, in this moment, I'm going to prepare food. So I'm going to put all the love that I share right now into the food. Right now, in this moment, I'm going to go to work. So while I'm driving, I'm going to go into gratitude for all the beauty that I see in my world. Manifesting is about feeling good. manifesting your heart's desires. The universe knows what you desire. You don't even need to speak it. But what happens when affirmations aren't working, people put them on their mirror that I have a healthy body, and there's something inside that says, well, that's not true. You don't. And the feeling it creates is, well, I really don't. I have a healthy relationship. Well, I really don't. So it's more important to, instead of trying to get to that higher level, to go a little bit at a time. And you can add, I'm learning to be healthy myself. I'm learning to have a healthy relationship. I'm learning to have a healthy relationship with myself. And as we practice that, it gives us the ability to move up on our emotional scale. And that emotional scale is what manifests good things. I really loved when I learned I didn't have to stay focused on my desire. Okay, I listed my desires and then I surrender them to the universe. I give them away. I let them go because my only job is to feel good without pretending, by the way, without going into, oh, I have to fake it till I make it. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm going to say sometimes that's an important piece of our life when we go out into public, to put a smile on your face when you're not feeling that great, as studies have shown that can help. But actually going into what emotions do I need to process? Do I need to feel the rejection, the abandonment? And that's where I go into creating a segment of my day to process those heavy emotions. And I separate that segment from my feeling good for the rest of the day. But processing those emotions, allowing them to be there and move through them, and most of all, to understand them and forgive them, allows them to move through your body so you can go back into feeling good. Isn't that beautiful? So give yourself some time and set a time that I will process these emotions. I'm not going to ignore them, fear and anxiety. And then I can go into Sandra's process, which is I am a spiritual being having a human experience. And this human experience does not define me. As a spiritual being, I am here to have these experiences so I can learn from them, so that I can share them with others. And as we practice that, separating ourselves, we have the materialistic human side, and we have our spiritual sovereign freedom side, freedom to create, freedom to be what we want to be. And when we can recognize when we're in whichever one, we can make the slight adjustment. And you can even go into processing negative emotions from a spiritual perspective, means my soul wanted to experience this. My soul wanted to experience this hardship because of the $1 million Harvard education that I received from it on the other side. My soul desires to travel because I'm curious and I love to experience new things. It's knowing what's deep inside your heart so that you can continue to create from what your soul desires. My soul desires to be healthy. I desire to have loving, connected relationships. I desire to have a career that provides passive income where I'm using my gifts to help others, and it's a win-win scenario. So I break it up into the different areas of my life: the health, relationships, and money. And write out what you desire in each of those, and write what your soul wants to feel from each of those. In my relationship, I desired connectivity. And authenticity was so important to me because I felt like that was missing in my life prior to my current partner. And so being able to be completely authentic was really important to me. And so me practicing authenticity with myself is where it began. And as I practiced that, then people showed up in my world to be more authentic. So manifesting, let's recap. Manifesting is happening every day while you are awake, okay, in your wake state. What you are thinking about is creating a frequency around you, and that frequency will attract like matter. That's all. Not good, bad, right, or wrong. Honor it. Honor whatever is showing up for you. Also, be mindfully aware that you can't help but create. Set a segment time of your day to process the hard stuff, and then be done processing it and go back into gratitude. Gratitude will shift you back into a higher frequency. That is the best way to shift you. And keep a gratitude journal, read it, feel it, first thing in the morning, every single day. Go out with the sun. Thank you, sun, for coming up today. Thank you, sun, for going down today. Be with the sunrise and the sunset every chance you can. It helps you to feel better. Know what you want by what you don't want. Let yourself desire the feelings of what you want. Your soul is choosing to desire these things, these feelings, and everything you desire. For example, a clean house gives me a sense of peace, a sense of freedom. So I desire today to clean my house because I love that sense of organization, accomplishment, and freedom. So get clear on the feelings you want to have and stay curious. You are going to be moving in and out of your life of desires. Keep writing them down as a new one comes up, and be open and willing to let the universe guide you, and watch for the little symbols and answers to come in. Little miracles, write them down. Yes, even watching a monarch come and land in front of you. Whatever those little miracles are, notice them and give gratitude to them. It's learning how to have faith and trust in the process of life. It doesn't mean that you do nothing about it. It means that you act from inspiration rather than desperation. And every day be mindfully aware of where you're coming from. You get to reset it at any given moment. It's a journey, not a destination. Practice moment to moment, day to day. Hit your reset every morning. I forgive myself for my misaligned thoughts, words, and deeds towards myself and everyone else in the past 24 hours. I am capable. I've got this. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to the teams that have helped me, my spiritual team. And then I surrender it. Thank you. And feel that frequency move in through every cell of your body and out the top. You've got this. Check in with us. Thank you, everyone, for adding your intention to ours today so that we can magically manifest and that we can continue to be powerful creators of love and abundance of good things. I love you. Go out and create a blissful life.